Hey, welcome to Geek Speak Episode 2.
Oh, cool.
So, what do you want to talk about, brother?
We had not too recently seen the new Batman movie.
Oh, yeah. I like that because it was, you're a huge Batman fan.
Huge Batman fan.
And we went, and I really went because you're a Batman fan.
Right.
And what was your thoughts on it?
Okay, so I wasn't expecting anything because I wasn't looking forward to a shiny vampire playing Batman. What's the...
Robert Patterson?
Yeah, I wasn't looking forward to it. But he did okay. He really did do okay. And I like the fact that the movie itself was considered more of like a detective thing. It went back to what Batman originally was, not just some big dark guy just growling in the dark. It was actually a guy that was using his wits to solve a problem, solve a mystery.
Yeah, because I think Batman's first appearance was like, wasn't it Detective Comics?
Correct.
And so, that's the reason I liked it. You know, the reason I like Blade Runner is it's like a 1940s detective. And so this hero had a real superhero detective feel to it. Mm-hmm. And I hope they continue. Now, I thought it was funny they had a guy named Colin Farrell play
You couldn't
the
even
Penguin.
tell it was him.
Yeah, and he's a good actor. And he's a handsome guy. But, there's good actors that actually look exactly like Colin did after they had the makeup on. And so why take a handsome guy and make him look ugly when you could just hire an ugly guy? Ugly guys got to work too, right?
Well, maybe it's just to draw in the fans.
maybe because he's a name. He's a name. Well, the last video, you asked a question about cosplay, and I answered another question. I didn't quite answer the question you asked.
Right.
You asked, what do you think about standing in line to get your weapons checked?
Right. You had to stand in line to get the tickets, and you had to stand in line to get your weapons checked. And there's times that when I've done a cosplay, I've literally not made the weapon because I didn't want to have to stand in another line.
So, like a true politician, you ask a question and I answered something else, like, yes, Mr. President, what about inflation? Yes, I do like peanut butter and jelly, but I don't like to buy it pre-mixed. I like to do it myself.
Right.
So, to answer your question, yeah, they started checking weapons at comic conventions because somewhere, I can't remember where it was, I'm thinking Ohio, but a guy dressed as the Punisher came with all these actual weapons, actual guns. They were unloaded. But he came, and he should have known better than that. And so when that happened, people freaked out, and they started checking your weapons. Well, we're real good in our culture today about just doing something to do it, whether there's any positive results about it at all. So right now, before you go to Comic-Con, for those that don't know, you have to go. Typically, there's a couple policemen, maybe more, in a separate area. You stand in line, and you show them your weapon props and to make sure they're not real. They stick a little sticker on there, and then you're good to go. And they usually put the sticker somewhere where if you're going to pose for a photograph, you can cover the sticker, which is very, very nice. But then you're allowed to go into the convention floor. So, like, I went as Ben Kenobi this last time, and I had to bring my lightsaber in there. There's no such thing as a lightsaber.
Right.
So why are you inspecting my lightsaber to make sure that it's safe? Because there is no such thing as a lightsaber. Now, in the meantime, I was dressed as Ben Kenobi in this big, heavy tunic. It was old Ben Kenobi from Episode 4. I could have an AK-47 underneath my robes and walked right into the convention. But the main thing is I had my lightsaber with my little fluorescent sticker on it, so we're good to go.
Right.
And then I had to do the same thing when I was Gandalf with my big white staff. And so, no pun intended. So I go in there, and he checks my staff out. Are you really making sure it's not magical? Are you making sure all the charges are gone in it?
Right.
And I'm just like, come on, guys. We're just doing something just to do it, and there's nothing positive coming out of it. There was no search or no metal detector I had to go through or anything like that. So anyway, something else, brother. What do you got?
I am super stoked for Thor's Love and Thunder. I've seen the I guess preview or
the trailer.
Yeah. And okay, I'm a big Thor fan. Loved all the Thor movies. It might not be like down to the nitty gritty of what real mythology is, but it's still pretty cool. And I was wondering if you'd seen it and what your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Thor movies, and it's almost like they've just continued to get better. The first Thor was okay. Thor Dark World, I liked it, and then of course Thor Ragnarok with Taika Waititi.
Yeah,
he did a fantastic job on that, and he's doing this one, so I'm excited about it. Now, Marvel's kind of done all the classic Marvel stories for the most part, so the MCU is kind of getting little known characters, and they're delving into more modern comics as far as the stories. Like in this one, Jane Foster becomes Thor. There's no secret in that. Yeah. You can tell by the trailer. And so, that's a rather new story written, not too long ago by Jason Aaron. So it'd be interesting to see how that's received. It'd be interesting. But I look forward to it. So I got a little show and tell.
Okay.
So for Valentine's Day, my wife gave me what's called a Ressikan flute. And what that is, it's a flute that was in an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation called The Inner Light. And if you haven't watched any Star Trek, check out Star Trek The Next Generation, the episode The Inner Light. It's a good standalone story, and it's just fantastically written. And if you don't watch that and don't get choked up, then you might be dead inside. So she gave it to me for Valentine's Day, and there was a certain tune that was played on it. You want me to play it for you?
Yeah.
I can't because I don't know how to play it. But the thing is, when they made this, Paramount come out with one, and Gene Roddenberry come out with one, and the prop they used in the show didn't play, and the replica props. That's what I'm trying to say. The other two they didn't play as well, but this one that she got me actually plays, and they did real good on the box. I'm trying to match it up to what it looked like in the episode.
Right.
So that'll look good. So my goal is by next Valentine's Day to be able to play that tune on her. Yeah, that's not it, but it was better than me already.
But it works.
Yeah, already. So let me ask you this: did you see?
Like earwax.
Well, I'll explain that to you later. But did you see? Had you seen the Willow Time on Amazon?
Mm-mm.
Well, Willow Time is a book series written by Robert Jordan, and I haven't read any of them, but they're super popular. And just like you had the book series, A Song of Ice and Fire, and it really took off when it was adapted to television and called Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Well, so everybody's looking for that next Game of Thrones. And so Amazon bought the rights to A Will of Time. I never read the books, and I watched the series, and the series was meh. It was just okay. To me, it was just a mediocre fantasy series.
Okay.
But the people that are passionate about the books, which I haven't read, are just going off about the series because there's so many inaccuracies on the Netflix series versus what the books were based on. And that just reminds me of what they've done recently to Doctor Who, and what they've done with Star Trek Discovery, and what they did with the sequel trilogy. They're doing it now. Netflix is doing it now with Usagi Yojimbo. I mean, they bought the rights to these characters, but they really don't want to make faithful adaptions. What they want is they want to buy the right and then do what they want to do. So they want to make the show they want to make and just slap on
the title,
the
name of it.
Right? when we were kids, when Star Trek was real popular and it was in syndication, there was no Star Trek toys for a while. And so this one company got the rights to Star Trek, and what they did was they just took walkie-talkies they already made and put Star Trek symbol on it. And there was even a helmet. There was a white helmet with a red siren on it, and that they already made. And I don't know why a kid would want a white helmet with a red siren on it, but they had it. But they rebranded it Spock's helmet, and it had a picture of Spock on the box. And that's kind of what people do with IPs now. They buy Star Wars or Star Trek or Doctor Who or Willow Time. They're getting ready to do it with Lord of the Rings, and they want to tell their story, but they don't have the gumption to try to write an original story with original characters. What they want to do is they want to write a story, but they want to try to capitalize on a name. So they buy
Right.
Lord of the Rings and stamp on it, or Star Trek and stamp on it, or Star Wars and stamp on it. And so longtime fans don't like it, and they really don't care that longtime fans don't like it.
I mean, I can understand like things like Lord of the Rings. I mean, you got to be faithful to Tolkien,
Right.
and you want to write things that or reenact things that Tolkien has wrote. Now, as far as things like Star Wars, where they come up with new things like The Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett or whatever, I understand that because you're adding to the lore. But things like Lord of the Rings, if you try to add something that doesn't already exist, you're kind of throwing in the lemon in tea if you don't like the tea.
Sure, I
Don't,
understand.
don't be throwing the lemon in. If you don't like the lemon, don't throw tea in, or don't add something to it that doesn't supposed to be there.
Right. Once you change something so much, it eventually isn't what it was originally. So like you had 4 Beatles, and people love Beatles music. Well, how many Beatles do you have to take away before it's not the Beatles anymore? You know, if one of them dies and 3 of them go in concert, or 2 of them dies and 2 of them go in concert, or 3 of them dies and 1 of them goes in concert, I mean, you know, there's a reason Star Wars was popular. There's a reason Star Trek was popular. Reason Doctor Who, which I'm not into, but you are,
Right.
popular. So you got a formula there, and you got a built-in fan base. So why would you spend big money on purchasing something, and then just totally ignore what had come before and just do your own thing and just slap on a label?
Because that title, that fan base is going to come because of that title. If they don't stay, they've still made their money initially just to draw them in.
Right. I see your point, but it gets frustrating for me.
I know, and it gets frustrating for the fans as well, because they want what they want, and they'll come to it, and then they'll be like, "No, you didn't get it."
Right.
But we can admit what we don't like the Highlander movies. I love the Highlander movies. Highlander 2 does not exist for me. I have deleted it from my mind. I will not ever watch it.
Right.
Just because of the way they took it.
Right.
They
It's
were,
just
and
like,
because they were looking for money.
Right,
So
it's-
I can delete what I like and don't like.
and I'm the same way. I mean, I love Star Wars.
Right.
The original trilogy. I like the prequel trilogy. I like the Mandalorian, and I liked Rogue One, but like the sequel trilogy was horrible. I'm not a huge fan of Book of Boba Fett. We'll talk about that after you see it.
Okay.
And so, like Star Trek, you know, there's some of the new stuff I like, some of the new stuff I don't, I guess. But the thing is that you can't ruin that franchise for me. You can go in and change it up and come out like Highlander. They had some horrible sequels, but I still love that first movie.
Right.
I still love that first movie. So, anything else?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that's about it.
All right, okay. Well, I appreciate you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like our content, and we'll see you later.
Later.